Got it. Be sure. Chris.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Andy, meet
Good.
Chris. Chris, meet Andy.
Thanks, big
Hey,
bro.
Andy.
I'm a big brother. That's what I am.
And Andy, this is what I look like without a mask. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Sorry, I got to wear it in the building. Do you want to go by Andy or Andrea? What do you prefer?
It doesn't matter. I mean, everybody here calls me Andy.
Okay. With
so
an E?
I don't know if that. Yeah, IE. Yep.
Okay, cool. Well, let me ask you this, Andy. Tell me a little bit about what it's like to be a player personnel coordinator. Like, what does your job typically entail? I was reading a profile on you from UNE, and they were saying that you do like 75% of your work is college scouting, and then 25% is pro scouting and some admin work. Can you kind of tell me like what that's like and what the details are?
Yeah. So on the college side, I have my own school. So a lot of my schools are in the Northeast, and then I took a trip down to Virginia where I hit Virginia Tech and Liberty. So just doing all my college guys, writing reports, learning about them, doing all that kind of stuff. And even with the draft and all-star games coming up, I do a lot of the admin work for those. And then on the pro side, I have my pro teams. So essentially, like we like to say, you're the GM of your pro team. So depth charts, talking to agents, writing reports. So that way, if any of the coaches, GM, assistant GM, if they all want to know who this team is, they can pull the depth chart, and all my work is in there. Write clips on anything that happens at practices, injuries, just make sure everything's up to date on those teams. And then I do a lot of still do admin work as I was doing when I was an intern. So it's a lot, but it's awesome. I love it.
Do you feel like you know every other team inside and out, and since you do all these reports?
On the ones that I have, you kind of get a feel for them and like how they think. So it's kind of cool when trades happen, cuts happen, or guys get elevated up. You're like, oh, okay, yeah, I can see why they did that. Especially with COVID happening, you kind of got a feel for how they really move their roster around and really how their head coach and GM thinks.
That's cool. I mean, that's like kind of insight that like I think every football fan would love to have. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh,
Cool.
It's amazing.
Now, so when you go do your college scouting, are you looking at players for like their metrics? You know, like how fast they can run a 40-yard dash and their bench press and how they perform on the field in terms of stats, or is it something else you're looking at?
So that's part of it. Another part is just you talk to coaches, talk to pro liaisons, academic advisors, strength coaches, athletic trainers, and you're really trying to figure out who this kid is, who he is as a player, who he is as a person. Because, I mean, you want to bring in good football players, but you also want to bring in good guys. That's what helps the locker room, and culture is huge here. So that's a main thing we try to focus on. But yeah, metrics, how fast they run, how they look on the field. We'll go to practices. So it's good to see them on the field in pads, and then we'll go into a room and we'll watch game film on them. But just being in their school, in their environment, and just having access to many people who work with them every day is invaluable. So you get a lot done.
Do they get excited when a scout shows up?
Oh, I mean, they're used to it because, I mean, when they start off as freshmen, you see scouts in looking at the upperclassmen. So I'm sure they're used to it by now.
That's cool. That's fun. On the pro side, you were talking a lot about not just the depth charts, but also the transactions. When you're doing that, are you doing that for game planning purposes for the Bills, or are you doing it for like a potentially acquiring some of these guys for the Bills and like kind of keeping an eye on that? What am I understanding it right?
Yeah, well, it's kind of both. Any transactions, any guys who are cut from teams, signed from teams. Basically, we just want to know for guys who are cut and all that, who's on the street. If an injury happens, who's the first on our ready list? Who can we call right away? Who's available? Who have we talked to agent last? We know everything's up to date and all that. So it's basically, you're almost, for guys who are cut off teams, you're almost preparing for in case anything happens and doing all that.
Yeah, got to strike while the iron's hot. Hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
How are we doing? How you like Andy? Hey, tell me.
He ran away. They opened the door and he ran away.
How did you get into this? I mean, I know the internship process of meeting with the at the conference and everything. I understand that, but how did you get this passion to end up working for a pro football team?
Well, I grew up watching football. I would spend Sundays, Mondays, whatever, on the couch with my dad. And honestly, at first I didn't even know. I would just cheer when he cheered. So I was just going off of him. And then, I loved hanging out with him. So it was kind of like that bonding time for us. And then, it just grew and I just became obsessed with it. And then we added a football team at UNE my junior year. So that's when they were still kind of like a JV team. And then I actually picked up a coaching minor my junior year. And then going into senior year, part of that coaching minor, you needed an internship. So it's kind of figuring out, I also played softball for UNE. So talking to my advisor, I couldn't do softball because we were in the same season. And she actually ended up saying, what about football? Because we had to write philosophy papers. So I've written philosophies on different coaches in the NFL. Basically all my papers were about football. And she was like, why don't you just do that? So it was a great idea. And it ended up working out perfectly. But I'm just grateful to be here and just learn from the best of the best and just keep advancing.
Where are you from?
Rhode Island.
Whereabouts?
Southern Rhode Island, right? Kind of like 10 minutes from URI,
Okay.
right near Westerly.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know Westerly. Yeah, I'm from Mass.
Okay.
In college, we played URI in lacrosse all the time.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
Yeah. All right. So you from Westerly exactly, or?
No, I'm from Richmond.
Okay. Yeah. I'm familiar with it on a map.
See, not many people know where that is.
I got a bunch of friends who live in like Barrington, Cumberland, like all over the state.
Oh, yeah.
And I got a buddy who's doing med school at Brown. So I'm getting more familiar with the tiny state. So I guess what I wanted to ask you, one thing that's most important, you guys have obviously had, as an organization, an incredibly successful season, not just this season, but last season too. But you guys are, going even further into the playoffs. How does this feel for you, as this is now your 4th year in the organization, but your 2nd year full time, right?
No, this is my 3rd year, and then this is my 1st year full time.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I got it back out. Okay, so your 1st year full time, and you guys are going deep into the playoffs. How does that feel?
It's amazing. It's just cool to, especially because I started off mainly on the college side, so it's really cool to see the guys who I was part of, like my first draft and their first draft, where they are now, and it's just cool, like to just kind of grow with them and just see them through. And you're stepping into a great place, and we're doing extremely well. So it's awesome. It's amazing.
Does it feel validating with the type of work that you do to see how successful your team has been?
It's validating the fact that everybody puts in so much work throughout the whole year, and you just see how well we're doing. And even before I came here, Sean and Brandon coming in, just building this place from the ground up, and now seeing what it's like, it's amazing. Like, I stepped in and the foundation was already built. I just came and I just helped add to it. But it's amazing just to see where we are. And we talk about it all the time. Oh, I remember before, like, just the way we did things, because we didn't have like our system where we organize all of our draft prospects, and on free agency side of all of our teams. So everything was done by hand. Nothing was online or just on with technology. Boards were with magnets and all that. So just knowing where we are now. And then, I stepped in with the easy part. Let's be real here. So it's been awesome.
That's really, really cool. It sounds like you're really enjoying it.
Yeah, I love it. I couldn't picture myself anywhere else.
So what's the future hold for you? Do you eventually want to be a GM?
That would be great, but I have so much to learn. Like, as you said, like, this is only my 3rd year and my first year full time. So that is nowhere in my perspective right now. Like, I'm not even looking at that. I'm just keeping my head down, working hard, and just learning from everybody I can.
That is so classic, like NFL football response. Like, no, I'm just focused on the moment. Gotta do my job right now. This week, 1 week at a time. Oh yeah, you nailed it.
They've trained me well.
No kidding. No, that's cool. Andy, what oh, sorry, I got a Zoom next door to me too. What about your experience at UNE as far as working with either the football team or even being able to compete professionally? Compete with the softball team. How did that kind of blend into the experience that let you get this job?
You mean like how do I balance it?
I think more of the fact that like you were already an athlete, right? And then
Oh yeah, yeah.
and then you started working with the football team in a non-athlete role. It's not like you were an athletic trainer or a strength coach or something like that. I mean, you were doing the scouting and work with them on that side of things, just strategical side. How did being an athlete and then having that experience with the football team help you in this role?
I think it's just I know the mind of an athlete because I was one. You know, I know how the body moves. And then I know how to like relate to them and all that. I think that really helps, especially in college where the guys are coming in at 18 years old and then I was a senior at that point. So you had all those age, but I was just really able to relate to them. And I know how they think. I know how the body moves, how it's supposed to move and all that. And that's honestly helped translate here. Like when I first came here, my first position that I really looked at was safeties because safety. So I played outfield. So a lot of those techniques are similar. So transitions with flipping your hips, any tightness, like bursting out of transitions, like all that correlated. So it was very easy for me to get a handle on not just even my reports. I know how safeties are supposed to move. So part of it was just helping me put it on paper and writing it in like a football scouting perspective. Yeah. So I mean, it honestly helped a lot. And even now today, like before practice, like we're throwing balls at all the guys, like we're just like having fun doing all that. So I mean, being an athlete has definitely helped me. Yeah,
I get that. Like tracking an object through space, especially you're tracking a ball trying to make a catch as an outfielder.
Right. Yeah.
The same way
and
that a safety is in space trying to either find that ball or the player who caught it. And the approach, right? Do I do this on a one hop? Do I try and dive for it? And meeting that player or that ball wherever it is on the field.
Like
safety.
quick mental processing. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
This is an ignorant question. Do you know how many other female scouts there are in the NFL?
I don't know the exact number.
More than 5? More than 10?
I would say there might be around 10. I'm not exactly sure, but I know there are. When I first came here, there was rarely any. Might have been like a couple, but now every year there's been more. And I actually noticed it going to all-star games. Was the first time I went, there was like nobody. I was one of the only females there. And then last year there was more, and then this year's gonna be even more. And you're starting to see them on sidelines. So when we home games, like I'm seeing people on the other side of the sideline, and so you get to meet them and all that. It's been awesome. But there's definitely more now than when I started.
There has been a big shift in the last couple of years in diversifying football staffing and just coverage in general, right? We have many more female broadcasters who are now calling the games. We have people who are working in front offices, referees, and anytime that something like this happens, because it is it's historical, it gets a lot of attention. How do you feel to be one of those trailblazers in this sport?
I don't know. It's hard to wrap around that it's being a trailblazer because I mean I just keep my head down and I just grind away. But it's cool. It's really cool to know that other people are looking up to you, and it's even I don't know. I don't even know how to put it into words. I don't see myself as a trailblazer because there are people before me who laid that foundation. I'm just following through. I'm just glad that I could just show what I can do and hopefully teach people behind me and all that, how it's done. And honestly, just open people's eyes that you want to have as many perspectives as you can. And that's so valuable. Everybody has grown up differently. Our personalities are different. We connect in different ways. And I mean, we use that in the draft process a lot. We may talk to the same prospect. We all get something different out because we connect to that person in different ways. So it's been awesome. And I'm grateful that there's so many women now in the NFL.
Awesome. Hey, second year in a row, you guys are AFC East champions. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
Second of all, what is the energy like around the facility, in the locker room, at practice as you guys prepare for your next game?
Oh, it's been awesome. Guys are loose. They're staying within themselves. We're focused. We have a goal that we want to accomplish, and we're grinding. It's honestly, you would think that we're excited and all that. We had 24 hours to celebrate, and then after that 24 hours, we were already game planning for the next game. So it's been all business. I mean, we're still being ourselves. We like to have fun, but we're focused, and we're getting ready for the Chiefs. So it's gonna be a good game.
That's going to be a hell of a game. I'm really excited to watch. And one thing that's cool. I mean, look, so you're from Rhode Island. Are you a Patriots fan born, or are you? I mean, because you got to be a Bills fan, right?
Oh yeah. I did grow up a Patriots fan, but Bills Mafia right now, all the way. They embraced me, so I'm happy to be here.
That's awesome. Was it kind of cool last week to be able to play the Pats?
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool to see your the team you grew up rooting for, and then just being on the other sideline. But also, it's cool now that I kind of know how they operate. So it's cool to think that like stuff that I was like questioning before or just wondering about when I was little, it's now I have that inside knowledge from like, oh, that's why they did that. So it's really cool to think about it like that.
I mean, okay, I'm gonna be like total geek right now, but like I would love to like spend a game day hanging out over your shoulder or like in your back pocket or something, just like listening like what you go through on a game day or even a game week. I think that's so cool.
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
Andy, you answered all of my questions. Is there something I didn't ask you that you want people, back here in Maine where you went to college, to know about what it was like for you to make this transition from being an intern in college and then now having this job full time?
Yeah, I think that what people don't realize is, I mean, UNE is a D3 school and the football team just started. And I think that's what made me stick out, was because as a D3 person who works for a D3 program, you have to have a hands in everything because the coaching staff isn't as big. I don't even know what the word I'm looking for.
Well, let's be blunt. Let's be blunt, right? I mean, the University of New England's football program is not a Power 5 conference, but
No.
by any stretch. I mean, so to make that leap is very remarkable, and I think that's why a lot of people are so interested in what you've accomplished. Does that play into it at all for you?
Yeah, I came in, for UNE, I did, I shadowed coaching, helped with special teams, did video, I did equipment, did everything. And that's what made me stick out for somebody. And another thing is that our assistant general manager, who just is now the general manager of the Giants, he was a D3 athlete too. So when I was interviewing, we really connected on that. Him being a D3 athlete, me being a D3 athlete, and then me working for a D3 program. And I was grinding every day, balancing, because in the fall I had a softball season, football, and I was still a full-time student. So I really stressed that I was used to balancing and just having my hands in different parts of everything, of college and of the program. So that's another thing that I tried to really stick out with, is that I did everything. I didn't have a specific job. So you can put me anywhere. And that's what I told Brandon and Joe. I was like, I don't care where you put me. I just want to be in. I have done everything. And I just want to advance. So.
You remind me of me. I love that. I'm like jack of all trades, master of none kind of thing. Like I got to shoot my own video and write my script and edit the video and everything. So like it's,
but that's a great foundation when you're first stepping into a job, is having knowledge in all areas, and then you build up from there. And it's like a pyramid. And then you start to narrow your knowledge, and you just grow from there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Andy, I just so appreciate your time, and I know it's such a busy week for you guys. Big matchup this week with the Chiefs, and so I just wanted to say thank you for making the time, because I know that you guys have a lot to prepare for. Is there anything else that you want to add before I let you go?
nothing, just go Bills.
Yeah. Hey, oh, I wanted to ask you while I have you here. I noticed you post a lot of stuff on Instagram. Do you mind if I use some of that to show, kind of like you standing on the field and stuff like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Obviously, we give you credit. I just want to ask you before I take it from your Instagram.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Okay, cool. I did send you a DM. I don't know if you got it. And if you need to communicate with me, Derek has my email, and
Okay.
actually he has my cell phone too. So if you ever need anything, or if you're coming back, to Biddeford anytime soon, say the word and we should catch up.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for your time, Andy. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hey, good luck this week.
Hey, Chris, still there?
Yes, sir.
Do you need B-roll of Andy?
Do you have B-roll of Andy?
Yeah.
Oh, then
I
heck
didn't
yeah.
even know what that was.
She doesn't even
until
know what it
today.
is. I know. We were just talking about it. She's like, what the hell is B-roll? I'm like,
Yeah.